right, and welcome to the Bridge Church Midweek podcast. My name is Tyler Wolf. This is our lead pastor, Todd Pope. Pastor Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Tyler?
I'm fired up, okay? I've had a lot of coffee today.
Woo, me too.
Have you really?
Yeah. A lot for me is 2 cups.
What are you doing without you? That's about what I've had. One of them was large.
All right.
I've had 3. What are you doing without your peanut butter mocha?
Well, I make my own. I bought a bottle of peanut butter syrup, coffee syrup on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so I make my own. I have a little frother at home. So it's a poor man's PB mocha.
Yes, nice. I'm still drinking black coffee, as always.
Couldn't do it.
It's not better or worse. It's just different. Okay? Let me tell you why I'm drinking so much coffee today. Yeah, he said it's just worse. Let me tell you why I'm drinking so much coffee today. Last night, my wife, Alyssa, was working late.
I know her.
Yes. For those who don't, my wife's name is Alyssa. She was working late last night. And so I was just hanging out with Micah, and I just was spending some time with Jesus. We were watching some church online, and I heard the Lord speak to me last night saying, I have something for you in the morning. Something that we say to our kids all the time, basically just to get them to go to bed, like just go to sleep and there's a surprise in the morning. But I heard so clearly that I have something for you in the morning. So I set the timer on my coffee, I set the alarm on my phone, and I got up fairly early this morning, probably not early to you. And I feel like the Lord never woke me up that early until I started serving underneath you. So thank you for being the early morning guy. But I've really been in Isaiah 55. I've been drawn back to Isaiah 55 over the last several weeks. And this morning, it all seemed to start to make sense. Verse 1 says, "Come, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And he who has no money, come buy and eat. Come buy wine and milk, and without money and without price." And thirst usually isn't described as a good thing. And the Lord spoke to me this morning saying that thirst is not a problem, it's an opportunity. Because he uses thirst as an invitation in this verse, saying like, hey, if you're thirsty, I have great news. There's something really, really great. And throughout all of this quarantine, leading up to this morning, I just had this vision of a person standing outside of a grocery store, dying of starvation, when everything they need is just right on the other side of that door. And so with that, thirst not being a problem, being an opportunity, I want to just take a few minutes to talk to you about all the opportunity we've seen through what seems like a problem of like we can't meet in person and all that, the opportunity, what the Lord has done through Easter and everything being live streamed. So do you want to talk about some Easter numbers? Yeah,
I'd love to. I think the first one I want to share isn't ours. There are different platforms that people can do online church through. We use YouTube. Others that use, Facebook Live, whatever. One of the platforms out there would be Church Online. Life Church in Oklahoma City makes this platform available to churches.
Yeah.
And just through that one platform, almost 10 million people attended one of almost 32,000 services on Easter Sunday, and they had almost 70,000 reported decisions for Christ.
Wow.
Just on that one platform. And I'm pretty confident that YouTube is a larger platform for that.
Yeah.
Facebook's a larger platform than that. So I would just be really interested to see if there's any way we could ever compile the numbers. An incredible opportunity. When you think about here, just through Easter Sunday, we've already eclipsed the total number of views that we had online for all of 2019. And more than half of those came just in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it is something that we've never experienced. We've never been here before. We've never experienced this. And so it has been amazing. We had, 910 views on Good Friday?
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, yes, when I kind of put together some thoughts for this episode today, we were just over 800 yesterday.
Wow.
And now over 900 people have viewed our Good Friday service. Yeah. And I heard people saying, because Good Friday is something that some people who attend church maybe once or twice a year, Good Friday might be one of those times.
Yeah.
and people have told me they've been sending out links to our service to those family and friends of theirs that are that way, saying, "Hey, you got to hear this message. This is not the message you grew up with. This is a real message of hope." So yeah, almost 1,000 people have viewed our Good Friday service.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and the illustration that kind of was the centerpiece for that message was an illustration that I used 24 years ago as a youth pastor about, this virus, and it was so uncanny applicable to right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that illustration resonated with people like, oh, like I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Like that scenario. And I had several people tell me it really brought the sacrifice that Christ made and that God chose. It really made that come alive as far as what a father choosing to sacrifice his son on behalf of other people. And I think that resonates with people right now.
Yeah. I had a guy say that I went on a run with a guy from church. Don't worry, we were 6 feet apart, not because of social distancing, but because he's fast and I'm slow. Okay. And he told me that it was one of the best Good Friday services he's ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So now let's talk Easter. On Easter, we reached over 1,400 people with the gospel on Easter Sunday. Yeah. Well, 1,400 households.
There you go. Yeah.
So we don't know how many people are sitting in front of those TVs. What we do know is that God moved through the gospel on Easter Sunday. Yeah. So kind of compared to 2019, why is that so extra worth celebrating?
Yeah, and I don't have the exact numbers in my head this morning, but last year in person, I think our total number was around 1,100, something like that. Mm-hmm. What I don't know is our total views last year, but it was nowhere near this.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, for multiple reasons, but the Life Church in Oklahoma City, they've done this tracking numbers online for years. Yeah. The stat that they come up with is 2.6 per view. They have experience. I don't. Yeah. So whatever that is worth. But if you take that times 2.6, if you even just take it times 2, I think that would be extremely conservative. Yeah. You're talking 2,800 people, that viewed our service. That is, more than double.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Our total number last year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now let's talk about the big one. Salvations. Yeah. On Easter Sunday alone, we had 9 people give their heart to Christ, followed by reaching out for more resources. Right. And so to talk a little inside baseball, is that what you say? Yeah. To talk a little shop here, how we do it at Bridge Church is we want to know how many people are finding Christ at our church. And so the way that we count that is the number of people that text the word next to this phone number. What we know is that many people do give their heart to Christ and not text that number. And so we know that many people had a life-changing encounter with the gospel on Easter Sunday. But 9 on Easter, when we couldn't even meet in person. That's incredible.
Right.
And ever since we went online only because of the pandemic, we have had 23 total people give their heart to Christ and reach out for more resources saying, I want to know what's next. Yeah. And even cooler than that to me is my phone's on all the time, and it comes to, I'm one of a few people on staff that it alerts my phone when someone gives their heart to Christ, and it's happening not just on Sunday morning, but on early Monday morning and really, really late at night, Tuesday night, all hours of the week. People are just coming into an encounter with the gospel of Jesus.
So that's one of the amazing things when you have online services available is that, somebody might have shared a link. Yeah. They just get to it, and maybe they can't sleep, and they click on it in the middle of the night, and they can encounter that. Not too many years ago, that wasn't available. I think back to, I'm reading a book right now about the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918.
Little light reading.
Yeah, And one of the things, they canceled churches and closed bars. They did all the things that we're doing now. They did that back then. But think about this. They didn't have any other way to meet.
Right.
So we have a way to do that. They did do outdoor services for some of those churches back then, but we have technology now that makes it like much more effective than anybody else in history would have had the ability to do.
Well, that's what I love is I feel like if I can put myself in the shoes of the enemy, I think he looks at this pandemic that he doesn't have the power to start, but he could certainly use it as an opportunity. Right. And now we're just beating him with our hand, one arm tied behind our back, which actually feels better. You know what I mean? Like the church is beating the enemy with an arm tied behind their back, and it's so worth celebrating. Yeah. Such a unique time to be a part of the Church of Christ. Yeah. Super cool. Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap up our time by you have celebrated, more than 20 Easters as a pastor. Mm. I don't know the exact number, but you've celebrated more than 20 Easters as a pastor. Tell me about this one. What was special about this one? What was unique about this one? Talk to me.
I think since we were not meeting in person, obviously doing the majority of the message off-site, that was unique.
Right. Shout out to Taylor Whitney and Kyle Jewell helped film that. Yeah, those guys did an awesome job. They did a great
job. I think it just the multiplication impact of people from other countries. Mm-hmm. Even one of the cool stats we had was that we had 32 people from Canada watching our live stream.
Yeah, wasn't there a couple from the United Kingdom as well?
And there was 11 from the United Kingdom. So we have some Scottish and some Irish, whatever. We had these people from other parts of the world. And the one that amazes me is those 32 from Canada.
Yeah.
I had no idea we were big in Canada, but 32 is pretty significant.
Shout out to the Leaf.
That's right.
Welcome to Bridge Church Online.
Hey, Amy Peters, who was a former student here in town, is from Canada, and she moved back. And so, Amy, if you're watching, I'm giving you full credit. I think you are our Canadian evangelist for Bridge Church. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but I think those kinds of things are just pretty special, that people from other parts of the world somehow find us and watch. Yeah. And I think those are just unique things. Unique things in our history that just haven't been true at any other time.
Yeah.
And I think just if I could give a shout out to the worship team and the tech crew, in many ways their workload has increased, not decreased during this for sure. We've shot more videos in the last 3 weeks than we have in the last 2 or 3 years probably. I mean, it's a lot. Yeah. I want to also give a shout out to those that are praying for your pastors. I get frequent texts or emails or messages on Messenger just letting us know. I've received a few cards even just letting people letting us know that they're praying for us. Yeah. And that is huge, and we really, really, really do appreciate that, and we feel that.
Yeah, and as frustrating as some of the limitations can feel, I put myself in the shoes of people 20 years from now that when we reflect on this, they're going to ask us like, oh yeah, you were pastoring during the pandemic of 2020. What was that like? Yeah. And when I think about it in the future narrative, man, it's exciting to see how God is using this and how we just get to be a part of it.
Well, and think about this. So our Hispanic service, Pastor Leonel, they're usually running 40s, something like that. On Easter Sunday, they had 115 views.
Come on.
You multiply that again by at least 2. The reach expanded. It didn't shrink. It expanded significantly. And so we're just believing that this is going to be one of the instigators for them really taking off and growing, is when we get back together, there's going to be people that have tuned in online and they're like, I want to be a part of that. And we're hoping that for the rest of the church as well. And I hope that for the rest of gospel preaching churches in our whole region and really around the world, is that this is this is the lighting of a match. Yeah. Where it really gets the world's attention, and that we do a good job stewarding that moment. Yeah. Of bringing glory to God.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Well, that is our episode for this week. And so what I want you to do, Pastor Todd and I are about to give each other the social distancing high five, give each other the elbow. If you are on a run right now, I want you to find the closest runner, give him an elbow, say Jesus is King. If you're at work, you're on lunch break, find the closest person, give him an elbow, tell him Jesus is King, God is alive, and we're celebrating all that he did on Easter. You ready to do this?
I'm not touching your elbow.
Really?
I'm just kidding.